Max, you got Insta covered, yeah?
Yeah. Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the In the Net podcast. Today we are obviously going to be building up to the big game tomorrow, which is England against Scotland at Wembley. Before we get onto that, we're going to recap what's gone on in the last couple of days. So we've had some big games, we've had some important games. Where should we start? Should we start with Wales the other day?
Yeah, remarkable performance from them, especially after the first two sitters that Aaron Ramsey had. I think they came through in what is pretty much, well, what was pretty much a Turkey home game, given how close it was to Baku and given the cultural ties between Azerbaijan and Turkey. So, well done to the Welsh squad. I mean, Bell made a great conversion with that penalty. But other than that, I think he had a phenomenal game. But yeah, it was always going to be the case with Wales. But remember, I did say they were my dark horse because Gareth Bale can somewhat transform that Welsh team and create something out of nothing.
Great assist for the
Oh,
goal on it.
amazing.
What a ball! What a ball! I love seeing passes like that. Unbelievable. But yeah, I thought Wales were really good. Thought they were really good in midfield. Joe Allen and Joe Morrell sort of dictated the game. Really, I just thought it was a really professional performance from Wales. It was impressive. Much better than their first game.
That's Turkey out, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah,
we wouldn't say that just yet because remember they have to play Switzerland and third place is still on the equation.
Okay.
The best four places or the best four third placed teams will still go through to the next round.
yeah. I'd say it's still unlikely though, Nick, because I still think there's going to be more other third place teams. But yeah, they're not out of it yet. It's a bit of a shock, really, because I think I mean, I was certainly expecting more from Turkey.
Hmm.
Yeah, 100%. I just think that to be fair, I don't even know what's gone wrong because on paper they have such a good squad, but I just don't think they've just clicked for whatever reason in this tournament. I think Italy gave them quite a humbling experience with the 3-0 on the first day of the tournament, and then they haven't really recovered, especially having to take a long flight to Baku from Rome as well. So Wales would always have the advantage there. I mean, going on to the next match, the one thing is that we've had some great football, but I think earlier on this week we had some disappointing matches in the sense like I'm just going to throw it out there. Spain, when you have 917 passes in
Yeah,
the 90 minutes and you can't score a goal. I mean, what is going on? They had 300 odd passes and broke the record number of passes in the first half as well. I just don't know what's going on there. And to be fair, like I said about Alexander Isak, and I thought he could have actually had a goal or two if he took his chances. But I think Spain was overly disappointing. And then France and Germany was a bit of a non-event, except the own goal.
Well, yeah, I think with that game,
You didn't like that game?
Well, considering that France had 2 goals ruled out for offside, the rest of the game was pretty dire, in my opinion. I don't think both teams are showing their full potential. France haven't got out of first gear, and I think they're going to show more in the next 2 games.
I quite enjoyed the game, maybe because of obviously the talent on display, but for me, yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. There wasn't a lot of goals, and I know 2 of them were disallowed. One of them was well, which one? The Benzema one. Actually, both of them, Benzema and Mbappe's goal. Amazing finishes, or amazing build up to one of them, and the other one was an amazing finish from Mbappe. But I guess it goes to show what France can do when they turn it on.
I don't think they've turned it on though. I think there's another level that they can go.
No, for sure,
yeah.
for sure. I think that's with every club, every team, sorry, not club, every team that have played well so far. I don't think that we've seen the best of them, but yeah, especially for me, I think being a United fan, seeing Pogba play the way he did was
he's great.
Yeah, and also Portugal turned up 10 minutes from time.
I thought I felt so sorry for Hungary because they were really resolute. They looked like they were going to get that point and maybe could have nicked it later in the game, but yeah, Portugal come strong the last 10 minutes, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean,
in the end?
3-0, yeah. Cristiano
That
Ronaldo decided to turn
a
up.
good reflection of the game. Like, it wasn't if you watch the first 70 minutes, you wouldn't say that game deserved to finish 3-0.
No way.
I think that's credit to the Hungarians though. They had a game plan and they tried to stick to it. And yeah, it almost worked. And then Cristiano Ronaldo happened, as you do with Portugal.
And we also had the Italy game last night. I thought they were they were thoroughly impressive again. So dominant. They look so solid at the back, and then the 3 that spring the counter attacks. I mean, the 2 sides that they've played so far aren't the greatest teams, but they've just not been able to cope with their attacking players. I mean, Berardi, Insigne, and Immobile have been brilliant, and obviously Locatelli scores 2 nice goals yesterday, and all of a sudden he's everybody's favourite goal scorer in midfielder.
Well, Locatelli is a baller, and I think I play
Football Manager, so I've known about him for years. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think Italy very, very differently, and I said that before with Mancini actually making them play entertaining football. But the midfielders you see now, it's not like the old of the very, very solid back 3, the very sturdy 2 midfield. And then you have like the number 10s, or I guess before they had the likes of Pirlo, Gattuso, and all these style of midfielders. But like, was it Locatelli, for example? Is
Barella.
Barella is also really good as well. And then like if you think about it, there's also Jorginho, but Verratti hasn't even had a look at in the tournament so far as well. So yeah, there's a lot of talent in that midfield.
I really like Italy as well, because they've not really got like that one standout star player, but they're just a really good team. They all know what they're doing. They're all fighting for the win sort of every minute of the game. And yeah, Mancini wants it. He's got unfinished business with the Euros, because I think as a player,
I don't think Italy have been like tested. I guess I don't think they've been in a they haven't played a team where you're going into that game thinking, oh, this might be difficult for them. Like they played Turkey and Switzerland. No, was it Switzerland?
Yes.
Yeah.
You expect them to beat both teams really. I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm convinced. Like I don't think they're gonna win it, or I don't even think I could be proven wrong, but I don't even think they're gonna reach the semis, if I'm honest with you. As far as I can see them going is the quarters, and I just I think their group has been quite easy, so to speak.
That's a very bold statement considering they've shipped 3 goals in both matches. Well, they haven't shipped; they've actually scored 3 goals in each matches so
Yeah,
far.
but I think what Wales beat Turkey, was it 2-0? Sorry, I'm losing count of the games and goals. Was it 2-0 yesterday?
Yeah,
Yeah, so it was 2-0. And if Wales, no disrespect to Wales, but if Wales can do that to Turkey, you would expect Italy to do one better, at least. So
Be an interesting game between them two when
yeah,
they play. I think
yeah.
if Italy come away 3-0 against Wales,
Then you
I,
could say,
I think then you say, oh, hang on,
yeah,
yeah, here we go. But yeah, that I think that'll be a really good game, that one. And as well as Italy going through, um, I think Belgium and Holland are both through now
yeah,
after the game was just finished now, and Belgium turning it round against Denmark earlier. I was gutted really because
De
Denmark went
Bruyne's
1-0.
goal.
Hey,
De Bruyne's goal.
yeah. But what do you expect? He comes off the bench, and we've seen what he can do at City. Like, and you can see like without him, City are a completely different side, and I'm pretty sure it's the same case with Belgium, even with the quality that they have in midfield and attack. The minute he comes on, he changes the game. Like I think they only had 5 or 6 shots, in that game entirely, and yeah, they still managed to get the result 2-1. I just want to put on another touching note the fact that they kicked the ball out at the 10th minute and then showed their appreciation for Christian Eriksen. I thought that was a really nice gesture from both sides. And yeah, I think with Denmark, it was a great start, and I was hoping that they would, go on and play for Christian Eriksen, given everything that's happened. It was such a shame that they didn't get the result that they wanted.
yeah,
But yeah, fair play to Belgium. And on the note of today, one of the teams that has really excited me actually, watching them is Ukraine. Surprisingly, because I didn't think much of them before going into the tournament, but like Yarmolenko is on fire. Like I don't understand what has happened. He's either a completely different player for Ukraine, or he hasn't even been given a chance by David Moyes, especially after his injuries. But what a player! And then like in terms of the Ukrainian side, you saw it in the last game as well. They play with no fear, especially against Holland, and especially today as well against North Macedonia. They're giving a right go at it, and they're playing quite entertaining football, I must say.
yeah. I mean, yeah, they were good today. And obviously they played Holland in the first game. You sort of mentioned it earlier about Italy in terms of yeah, right, they've won their 2 games, but like what when how good are they? Like I sort of feel the same about Holland, to be honest, because although they've won, Ukraine gave them a bit of a scare coming back from 2 down, and then they've scored from I think it was from a set piece, wasn't it, the winning goal?
Yeah.
And today they've won 2-0, but they weren't exactly against the top side, were they?
Well, the first goal was a penalty, and I think it was a stupid mistake from David Alaba. I think it was a little bit reckless, and there was possibly the thought that it might have been outside the box, but VAR, you can't really argue with video refereeing nowadays, and yeah, that really put a negative start to the game for Austria, and I don't think they ever recovered. But then again, it was a much more convincing performance from Holland. At least they got a clean sheet as well out of it. But something tells me that, like, I'm pretty sure, like, if anyone's Dutch who is watching or listening to this podcast, please let us know your thoughts. But it seems that it is a bit of an uninspiring way of football that De Boer has got them to play. And I don't know if you saw, but like before the first game, there was that plane which basically went past the training camp with 4-3-3, and I think that's pretty much what.
Dutch.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much sends a message to what they expect, and this style of football probably isn't what they're used to or what they would like to see from the Dutch side. It's like what's happened to total football.
I think both teams, Holland and Italy, I think obviously the players they have had in the past, I think some people are still attached to the name of, Italy and Holland as opposed to who they have now. Like, let's be honest, Holland, 8 years ago when they had Schneider, Van Persie, Robben, Van der Vaart, all of these players. Just before that, probably 3, 4 years before that, Van Nistelrooy was there as well. they're not there anymore. But when we talk about Holland, we just associate these players, whether it's subconsciously or not. It's just we just think, oh, Holland, big team, right? And sometimes we forget that. It's what we were talking about a couple of podcasts ago about Arsenal, for example, right?
Yeah.
We still, when we hear Arsenal, we still think big club in England, right? But really, they're finishing eighth, ninth, like seventh consistently now. So yeah, same with Italy, I guess. It's not this Italy of before. So when we do see like one or two results, we think, oh, it's Italy, they're back. But yeah, I guess what you were saying, Max, we'll see in the final game against Wales with Italy. If they come up, if they do another 3-0, 4-0 win or something like that, then we can say, yeah, they've probably got a shout. But yeah, I'm not convinced with either of them really.
Well,
No.
the one thing I will say to that is that, especially if I remember correctly, both these sides did not qualify for the last World Cup, right? So sorry,
Italy and Holland.
yeah,
I know Italy didn't. I'm not sure about Holland.
but I think they did, but I'll have to double check that later on. But Italy definitely didn't, and the thing is that both these sides have gone through a rebuilding phase. And the one thing I will say about Italy is that they've changed their manager, and they're instantly getting results in terms of the brand of football that they're playing. And they may not have the standout names like the Del Pieros, the Gattusos, the Andrea Pirlos, but they still have Chiellini and Bonucci. But irrespective of those two players who are basically probably towards the end of their careers, it seems like the team is playing more as a unit rather than individuals, and it is showing. And I think also the hurt from not qualifying from the last World Cup is also spurring them on to actually do better, especially given that their first 3 games are at home, and it's basically almost like a home tournament if you think about the first 3 games in the group stage. So they have a point to prove, and I think the results are showing that they actually want to do something to make up for the past failures in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. So obviously now that leaves us to talk about the big one, the game we're all looking forward to tomorrow evening, 7:00 kickoff at Wembley. England against Scotland. What are we thinking, guys? Will England win?
Has Harry Kane seen the Patrick Schick goal by any chance? And is he looking? And is he looking to re-emulate it? Because that's, to me, the goal of this the tournament so far.
Yeah.
What's the predictions?
I'm going to say 2-0. 2-0 England.
You?
I'm going to go with 2-1 England. I do feel like this is going to be a little bit more difficult than a lot of people think. I think don't take any thoughts about what happened with the Czech Republic game, because I think Scotland were unlucky. And given that it is the Old Enemy, as this title of the podcast would say, it's going to be probably a heated event because both teams would want to win it more. And yeah, I can even see someone getting sent off, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Ib?
I'm saying 3-0 England.
3-0?
The confidence.
Right. If that's the scores, what changes you making to the starting 11, Ib? If any.
Hearing Maguire's fit. Maguire needs to come back in, I think. Did you guys hear Mings' comment about Maguire? Did you find that a bit odd?
What?
I think recently, have you guys seen anything about Mings and Maguire?
Yeah, I've seen the interview with him, like where he's on the press duties. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he said something along the lines of like to be mentioned in the same sentence as Maguire is like I don't know. You don't really see people talking about someone they're competing with to be in the team talk about them so highly. It's like you hear players talk about ex players like that or legends of their clubs and stuff say, oh, to be mentioned in the same breath as Maldini is amazing. But to be mentioned in the same breath as Maguire, who's probably going to be coming into the team for you don't really want to give him that upper hand.
I know what you mean, but
I get it though. I mean, he's coming from a nice place. Definitely.
And this is a bloke that started his footballing career for Chippenham Town as well. So it probably is like, whoa, I'm being mentioned in the same.
Yeah,
It's sort of like dream.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I do. to be honest, it is coming from a nice place. But for me, it's just like when you're there now. Like you're competing against Maguire, you're competing against him. You want to get in the team. Doesn't matter if he plays for United or Stones plays for Man City. You're there for a reason. You want to get in there, right?
Yeah,
so, but yeah, for me, Maguire comes back in. Stone stays. If we're playing 4-4-3-3, I would take off Trippier, put Shaw left back. And apparently one of the reasons, I don't know if this, how true it is, but one of the reasons apparently Southgate went for Trippier is because of the Europa and the Champions League final. Shaw and Chilwell giving them a bit more of a rest. Apparently, I don't know how true that is. If that is the case, then I don't know how he started Stones, because Stones played the final, Champions League final. But yeah, it is what it is. But I'll definitely bring Shaw back in. So yeah, already that's 2 changes. Midfield, you have to start Phillips after the last performance, right? Yeah, Phillips and Rice, you can't drop them.
Yeah, I'd have them too. Yeah.
I'd probably bring in Grealish.
Yeah.
I don't think Foden's going to start tomorrow. Sterling will start because he got the goal. Obviously, you can't drop Kane. So the question is for me, if you drop Foden,
Grealish in for Foden then.
Grealish in for Foden, but there's still it's Rice.
Would you have Mount playing?
Oh, Mount. Yeah. Sorry.
Foden for Grealish.
Foden for Grealish, yeah. So
well, I'd agree with that, but I wouldn't be rushing Kane back. I think Mings was good.
You mean Maguire?
Yes, sorry, yeah. I wouldn't be rushing Maguire back. I think Mings had a good game. I think I'd leave the centre backs the same, bring Shaw in, bring in Grealish for Foden, as you said, and then obviously if all goes to plan and we get the 3 points, then I'd bring Kane in for the last group game. I just think pardon?
I said Kane again.
Yeah, they got the same first name, haven't they? I'd be bringing Maguire back then for the final group game against the Czech Republic.
Yeah, I would go slightly different. So
Trent in goal.
Yeah, Trent across the entire 11. We don't need any other players. Nah. All jokes aside, I agree with not bringing Maguire in. I think even though he said he's match fit, I'd rather not take the risk. And to be fair, the back 4 didn't have that many problems in the last game. Although I didn't really like how Kyle Walker performed. So one of the changes I would make is moving Trippier to the right and then getting Luke Shaw in on the left. Because there were times where we were running down the left and then Kieran Trippier would cut in, and then you don't have that option to go down the byline and just drill one into the box. Because there was times where exactly.
Sorry, like Lee said in the last one, we're going to need that width because Scotland are going to sit deeper than Croatia did. So we need that natural width on the left, definitely.
Yeah, like 100%. And then the other change I would make is probably to drop Foden. And I would probably move Sterling to the right as well and bring on Rashford on the left.
You'd have Rashford start.
Yeah, because I think let's try and we've got pacey players. We might as well use it to advantage. And then if we have Shaw, especially back as well, that link up on the left could be crucial, especially if they both play for United. And then we can attack down that there.
Do you know, another reason I think that Trippier might be moved to right back and Shaw come in for Walker is because all of Scotland play comes down the left, and I would say Trippier is probably the best defensively, probably out of the ones we got in the squad. Would you say
Reece James could have an argument?
I don't know whether he'd be. I mean, personally, I'd probably play James because I love the guy, but I think Gareth might be worried that it's sort of. I don't know.
It's also the experience as well.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm definitely looking forward to the game. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a good one, but then there's always that chance it could be an absolutely horrible one.
Well, Scotland will want to be making amends for what happened, like losing 2-0 at home against Czech Republic, and then you haven't faced your closest rivals in an international stage. So they'll definitely be more fired up for it. We just need to be disciplined, and make sure that we can see out the game, because on paper we're the much stronger side. Going back to what Ibby actually picked up about Tyrone Mings saying all those words about Harry Maguire, I didn't actually read about this, but I think one of the other things is not just he's a humble guy, but it also suggests like the presence that Harry Maguire actually shows off the pitch as well. Because one thing that we do miss at the moment is that leadership on the pitch, because Henderson's not fully fit and Maguire's not fully fit, so we're only really relying on Harry Kane to be like the captain or I guess the leader of the team.
Trippier as well.
Yeah. Less so Trippier, but more so Kane. I know Trippier has the experience, but like the two characters of Harry Maguire and Henderson in the team does make a massive difference to the dressing room.
Yeah, definitely.
I think, to be honest, it depends. I mean, with Maguire, especially as a United fan, I think when he got injured, we realized how much we needed him. I think throughout the season, a lot of United fans were slating him, including myself. We were thinking, we paid what is it 80 mil for Maguire, and most United fans will tell you that they weren't happy with him. And then he got injured near the end, and then we realized, well, we actually really need him at the back. Lindelof and Bailly were struggling a little bit. It wasn't really working. So, but that being said, throughout the season, there were moments. Obviously, you saw on Sky Sports. I know Roy Keane slates everyone more or less, but he was coming at Maguire a little bit, saying, how the thing about Maguire is he can get one-on-one. You don't want anyone running at him. But apart from that, leadership on the pitch and stuff is all there, right? But I think it's like when certain circles, like because I'm a United fan and I'm in United groups, WhatsApp groups, and this and that, and on my Twitter, majority of the people I follow are United fans. You do see like after every game, people kick it, like making noise about Harry Maguire's performance if he's not performing and things like that. Or where you needed him to be a leader, like people will say Bruno was more of a leader on the pitch and things like that. But at the same time, like I said, you only realize how good he is when he was missing. So yeah, would I have? It's a difficult one. I bring him straight into the team. If he's fit, if he's 100% fit, I bring him straight into the team. But if you guys are saying no, leave Mings in there, what happens if there's another clean sheet? You go into the third game, another clean sheet. Do you bring Maguire in at all, or do you just leave it as it is?
So this is my thought. If we can get the 3 points against Scotland, and hopefully we do, but as I said, like this is a very different game given the dimensions that you have with the fixture itself. If we manage to get the 3 points for the Czech Republic, we should probably try and get Henderson and Maguire into the side and get them at least 45 minutes to get some match fitness. Right now, I think, given that we'd beaten Croatia, the centre-back pairing is probably the most crucial pairing on the pitch. If it works before, don't chop and change anything. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. So I think, especially for the Scotland game, let's keep the back centre-back pairing, the back two as it is. And then I think the only defensive change I would make is taking Walker out and then getting a proper left back and move Trippier to the right.
What happens if against Scotland 3-0 clean sheet, you go into the Czech Republic game and you rest a few players, give Maguire and Henderson say 60 minutes or 45 minutes, and they do well. So Maguire plays for 60 minutes, and while he's on the pitch, we don't concede. The next game,
I say you play Maguire in the next game. I think
So would you not say that's unfair on Mings? The 2 games he played, he kept the clean.
Yeah, it probably is. But then if you then drop Harry Maguire after a clean sheet on his comeback game, is that not unfair to Maguire? It's England at a major tournament. It's not like under 10s football, is it? I think somebody's going to be gutted, but I just think, with his leadership qualities, I think once he's proven his fitness in a game, I think he's in the team to stay.
Yeah, ultimately you want to be playing your best 11, and I agree with Max. Like, yes, it may be unfair to one of the two players, but at the end
No,
of the day,
I'm saying
yeah.
bring him in next game. I'm not against Maguire being in the team. I'm saying bring him in next game. But I'm just saying it makes it difficult if they have two clean sheets, the centre back pairing, then to drop one of them and be like, I don't know, because obviously you're taking
It's
them.
tournament football though.
Yeah, but you put them in the 23. You put them in the or 26 actually, saying that I trust you enough to play. That's the reason you put them in the team, right? Like Foden was an automatic starter for all of us, but after one game, we're saying actually we'll drop him and bring in Grealish. Um, so like you said, he was tournament football, but also if someone's performing, why drop them? It's tournament football, right?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, we're not the manager. I guess that's the first thing to say, and then the second thing is that they know that.
Oh, sorry. Can I just say quickly on the Mings Maguire thing? I think we win the game against Czech Republic, and Maguire comes in and plays. I think then in the next round we'll be playing. If we top the group, we'll be playing the third place team from the group of death. I think it's quite likely we change to back three centre backs against if we're against Germany or Portugal, because I doubt it will be France. There's a chance that they'll all play once we start playing against.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go. That solves it.
Solves it, right? Thanks for listening, everyone. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I think we'll win. I hope we'll win, but it's England, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's also Scotland as well. So who knows what can happen. What I was going to say is that I think Gareth Southgate sees these guys in the training pitch, day in day out now. So I think even if we're always talking about Maguire, Mings, or whoever, but given that he sees them every day training on the pitch, he's probably going to have a better assessment and judgment on who to play. And I think that's what they said about the whole Kieran Trippier situation on the last game against Croatia. I think we have to do this. We have to take the same approach this game and just trust what Southgate does.
Yeah. And that's not the only big game we've got this weekend, because obviously we've got England tomorrow night. On Saturday we've got Portugal against Germany, which I think will probably be a more end-to-end game in terms of chances than the Germany-France game. I think Portugal and Germany will be may end up being one of the best games of the tournament. I'm going to put my neck on the line and say it. I could see Germany conceding goals. They looked quite disjointed the other night, and I think Portugal's shown that, all right, even when they don't play well, give them a couple of chances, they're going to tuck them away. So if they have a good game, they have plenty of chances. I could see a sort of 4-1, 3-2, sort of that kind of game either way. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah. Go on, Hugh.
Yeah, I think let's put it this way: Germany have a lot to prove now, given how they lost the last game. And Portugal know that if they get 3 points, they're probably going to be safe and sound and through. So I think it's really which Germany shows up. If they are going to go out fighting, it could go either way. They could win and scrape it and edge it against a Portugal side, which are very, very robust. And then you have Cristiano Ronaldo, who can, like the last game, create something out of nothing. Or they could absolutely bottle it like they did in the World Cup, and send Neuer up and lose a ball like 60 yards away from your goal, and then just concede.
Who was that against?
South Korea.
Yeah.
Son scored that goal when Neuer I don't know what he was doing, but if they make the same decisions like that again, they're going to easily bottle it. So I really hope they turn up and give a good fight.
Seems weird to say it as well, but watching Germany the other night against France, if we win our group and Germany came third, I'd fancy us to beat them. It's Germany, isn't it?
To be fair, like I'd even fancy us against Portugal. Like the one thing is, honestly, on our day, I think we can beat anyone. And I know that they have remarkable attacking talent, especially like it's not just Cristiano Ronaldo. They have.
We've been that team for the last 15, 20 years. Like when we had Gerrard, Beckham, Lampard's goals, Rooney,
Yeah.
Ferdinand, Terry, Cole, we could have beaten anyone, but we just never did.
Yeah, but
That was
the
problem.
thing is that we have never beaten Portugal in an international tournament, at least from what I remember, especially in our lifetimes. And I think it's if we get Portugal again, I think we'd be more fired up, especially those who grew up watching and seeing the pains of the 2006 World Cup and the 2004 Euros are now playing in that same tournament. So they'll be fired up and wanting to put one over Portugal. I can see us taking the challenge.
Or they're damaged to you. They're damaged
Yeah,
generation.
let's not talk about that.
Just ignore that.
Yeah, I'll let that one go in one ear and out the other. Germany, they don't look the best, and I think they're in a redevelopment phase as well, given what happened in the World Cup. And then France, I just don't want to see France, if I'm honest with you, because I don't think any team right now can compete with that side. And even though they scraped through against Germany, they did score 2 goals which were offside, but the quality that they have, and I don't, as I said, I don't think they've got out of first gear yet. Once they actually get on the ball and get running, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, and that's something that I think every team would fear.
Yeah,
it's a difficult one because you see, I don't fancy England against Portugal. Definitely not against France, Belgium. These are teams with what top players. There's world class, and then there's like elite players, and these players are some of these. Like in terms of elite players, how many players do England have that you would say they're just in the top 10 in the world? Like you could say for France, you could say there's about at
10.
least three. Belgium, De Bruyne, obviously Hazard had a bad season or two, but if, at his best if he turns up, and then Lukaku last season. For England, you will say probably just Kane, right?
At the moment, yeah. But this is what I mean. I think, well, I say what I mean. I've probably not mentioned it on the podcast, but in probably the next Euros, I think with the amount of games those players are going to have under their belts, we could have an absolutely monstrous team, especially with the players we've got coming through as well. I mean, we could be in a similar situation to France when you look at their under 21s team, and you think a lot of them would be senior internationals starting for other countries.
But then how old's Kane going to be then? How old is he now?
He's like 29, 28, 29, is he?
We mentioned this on the first episode, and now we've forgotten. I thought he was like 27.
No, he's 27. He's 27.
27, yeah. I just checked.
Okay, yeah. So he's still got a couple of years.
So yeah, he'll definitely play in the next World Cup and then the Euros after that, assuming he's.
But right now, you got to say that easily Belgium, France, and Germany definitely outstrength us in terms of.
And Portugal as well.
Yeah, and Portugal. Well, not Germany, sorry. I meant Portugal, sorry. I meant France, Portugal, and Belgium, not Germany. I think man for man, we're probably better than Germany.
I don't know.
I'm not sure about that.
Sorry?
I'd say us and Portugal are pretty level.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, because like the other players you list, other than Ronaldo, they're probably sort of in the same bracket as quite a few of the England players in terms of they're not next level, but they're knocking on the door kind of thing.
Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
Ruben Dias.
Depends how many penalties he gets.
Okay, if we're going to play that.
I think about Ruben Dias, Bruno, Bernardo Silva. Yeah, I know what you mean, but I just think they're not that elite level players, but they've got I think they've got a bit more experience and a bit more, I don't know, years under their belt compared to England players who are like still 19, 20, 21. Majority of them, they're a bit older than that. I would put Bruno in that world class bracket.
What, on penalty taken?
Yeah. It's probably fair, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a bit rose-tinted glasses with it being England. Do you know what I mean? Just thinking, no, we're the best ever. But yeah, I mean, sort of going away from the Euros for a second, I wanted to mention the ongoing well, it's turned into a bit of a soap opera now, but Tottenham trying to find somebody who would be willing to manage them.
Yeah.
They seem to be really struggling at the moment. What are your guys' thoughts on why is it? Do you think it's literally the restrictions that they're going to be under with Levy?
I think Daniel Levy is a big portion to play. I think Fonseca and Conte both wanted reassurances that they'll get the investment they'll need and they'll get the players that they want. I don't think Daniel Levy is that kind of club owner who would give them that. It's not going to be like these checkbook chairmans who will just hand out anything and everything. And he does like to keep his balance sheet quite clean. And unfortunately, that doesn't rest well on managers who are wanting to take the job. I know that they're talking about Gennaro Gattuso now being in talks after his 23-day stint or whatever it was at Fiorentina. Well, I don't even think he even started it. It's just like 23 days since he was announced to be the new Fiorentina coach. It's a bit of a joke, to be fair. And we have the Euros now, but after the season, after Euros end, the season's going to start. You do not want to be starting pre-season without a manager. It makes no sense. And
the Gattuso one just makes no sense because he's left Fiorentina because the board there weren't happy with the agents that he wanted to use for transfers and the size of the fees that they'd be taking. I can't imagine Daniel Levy being too happy to be handing out massive stacks of cash to agents.
Yeah, like this whole situation is a bit of a joke.
There's a manager, I believe, in the Merseyside that's been struggling last season that might fancy it.
Yeah, very funny, very funny. Are you talking about Carlo Ancelotti because he's gone off to Real Madrid?
Rafa.
Oh yeah, Rafa. How do you feel about Rafa going to Everton? If it
okay. So we're moving swiftly on to Everton now, and I guess that's probably why I thought you were on about Jurgen Klopp moving to Spurs, and I was like, are you in dreamland or something?
Yeah, no, I think he was, but yeah. I think the serious business of Rafa.
Yeah, so personally thinking, I'm not sure how this sits well with everyone in Merseyside. I think Liverpool fans will be a little bit more understanding given he's done a lot for Liverpool when he joined. But football has progressed over the years. He's had stints across Europe, in China, and then Newcastle as well. His family are really settled in Merseyside as well. So from the Liverpool perspective, like I respect his decision if he is to go to Everton. Obviously, with the owners, the new stadium, and the project that Carlo Ancelotti started, it definitely would be a very attractive opportunity for him. That being said, I think the Everton fans probably will see it slightly differently, given that he is from across the Stanley Park, managed their closest rivals, and in that case, even his allegiances, his affiliation with Liverpool Football Club, I don't know how that would sit well with Everton fans. I hope they can just put that aside, given that his history with the city, his family are settled in the area as well. That somewhat merits for something, and he could be the manager that, with the right resources and the right backing, get Everton back to being a successful football club. As much as it pains for me to say that, but
yeah, I think he could as well, Hugh. But because of the Liverpool ties, unless he hits the ground running, he's going to be fighting.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like when he joined Chelsea, like until the very end when he won the Europa League, and then even then, thanks Rafa. But
even then, a big percentage of them just still wanted him gone, which is just mental.
Yeah, but it is what it is, right? You can't I think they need to start looking at, especially same with Tottenham, they need to start looking at what is in the best interest of the club.
Yeah,
not necessarily who the personal and who or where they came from or what teams did they manage before. Because I think you could even say that with Jose taking charge of Spurs, like a lot of Tottenham fans weren't happy with it. One, because of his Chelsea affiliation, two, because of his tactics, but like we saw how that ended up. But that's probably more Jose than the club itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna really say then. If he does take the Everton job, I respect that. Fair enough. I hope Everton fans give him a chance, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Do you think he'd do a good job here?
If I'm honest with you, no.
No.
No, I don't. I just think he's been going from club to club. Yeah, I don't. As mad as it sounds, I don't really rate Rafa Benitez.
You what?
I'll be honest with you, I don't really rate him. It's like I know like you can't. It's like Mourinho. I could say the last 6 7 years, you can't as a manager his tactics. I don't think. I think I'm entitled to say I don't rate his tactics or yeah that you could say you can't argue with his record. That's a different thing. But I can say right now I don't think Benitez as a as an Everton fan, I would take him definitely because he's a big name and he can attract big players. But for a top club, I wouldn't want Benitez coming in and managing my club.
He will still win trophies, and to be fair, like even with the trophies that he won, think about that 2005 side. I don't want to bang on about it, but that Liverpool side,
comeback.
You can call it a fluky comeback, but should never have. Like, I'll be honest with you, Liverpool should have never won that Champions League title. If you looked at the two sides, we were significantly weaker, and if he can carry a bang average squad with Steven Gerrard literally carrying the team, I still think that you have to have some managerial expertise to get that, because the average manager probably wouldn't even manage to get anything near the results he did with Liverpool.
Yeah, but that's
also. Yeah, also the whole Newcastle situation. Mike Ashley did not give him any resources whatsoever, irrespective of what you say, and he still managed to pull through.
But then, like Newcastle fans on Twitter and stuff, they absolutely hate Steve Bruce, and comparatively, he's done a reasonable job compared to Benitez. Like he's still not spending the money like other clubs in the league, and yet it's an uninspiring brand of football, I know, but the Newcastle fans absolutely hate him, and they all love Rafa. It's just so weird.
It's probably also the fact that like even when it went down, Rafa stuck with them, got them back up, and the thing is that he's probably done a lot more to keep them up. And then once he's left, I think Brucey had inherited a team that wasn't just below average, but somewhat can do something in the league, and not just like hang on to like 17th place.
I don't think they're that good a squad. They got like a lot of players that have just been there treading water for a long time.
I mean, they did make a good loan signing from Arsenal.
Yeah, that was inspired signing from Steve Bruce. See, what a legend. But I think should we leave that there for today?
Yeah.
Come back after the sort of weekend's action after the Wales game on Sunday, I think it is. We're going to do one on Sunday and hopefully have another guest lined up for it, I believe.
Yeah, we're trying to work behind the scenes with that, and I think plenty of more to discuss from transfer news, from the Euros as well, and we'll see what happens with the groups and who finishes first and second, and we'll get a better idea of like who will play who in the next round. And before we close out, any comments from both of you?
Nope, just come on England, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, come on England, or pray for England. Either way, it depends on how you look at it. And on that note, I think it is time for us to wrap up. So as usual, I'm just going to go and follow through and mention about all our social media. So make sure that you do drop us a subscribe on this YouTube channel. We also have a Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Internet Podcast, and facebook.com/Internet Podcast. And as mentioned in the last episode, we do have a SoundCloud now, which is at soundcloud.com/Internet Podcast as well. And we are live on Spotify. So all of our episodes will then be uploaded, including this one, to Spotify. So you can catch us all. You can catch all of our episodes there and then as well. But yeah, that's all we really have time for. And then until the next episode, where we will continue with the Euros discussion and whatever comes our way. It's goodbye from me.
Goodbye.
Yep, and we hope to see you all again soon. And for now, hope you enjoy the Euros, and we'll catch you soon. Thank you very much.